Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So, an update on project, let me see if I can turn this flash off. Project FG Falcon track car. We need a name for it. Yeah, I'll come up with one, Blue Meanie or something like that. But in the meantime, update. So, here we have the rear rims, 10-inch. The front rims, 9-inch, and the hub spacer. So these rims have just come back from the wheel repair bloke, and he's definitely, if I put this in a better position here so you can see it, he's definitely milled them out. As you can see how shiny it is. It's not done with a grinder or anything like that. It was actually done with the correct tool. So I'll give the guy a shout out. His business is Perth Wheel Repair, if you're in Perth. He's much cheaper than the competition. He's a bit hard to deal with in terms of, like, he doesn't always answer his phone, and sometimes it's better to text him and everything, but that's a pretty clean milling, clearly done with a milling machine. And he's a lot cheaper than the competition. You know, he ended up charging me $80 a rim with the tires on to get them milled out. So total cost was $320 to get them all milled out. But now they're all milled, so we can chuck them on the car and test them out. So yeah, got everything we need, and chuck the rears on, see how they sit, because they won't need the hub spacer. They'll just go straight on, assuming that it's been bought out correctly. Because when I picked them up, I didn't get a chance to actually put them on the car because I was in a rush. It was sort of running to work. So I just had to collect them, pay the money. I didn't get a chance to actually put them on the car yet. So this is going to be a dummy run to see whether or not he's actually milled the correct size. So according to all my research, the center bore on an FG Falcon is 70.5 millimeters. So that's what I quoted to the guy. So that's what he supposedly milled them out to. So stay tuned and we'll see how they fit. Okay, so there you go. This is the front rim. And there's the milling, and there's 70.5. And if I actually just put this where it needs to be, which is there you go. I'll show you how it sits. Sits flush. Looks good. Looks like he got it right. Looks like he did it dead on 70.5. So there you go. So it's milled correctly. Well, this rim is anyway, milled correctly to 70.5. Hasn't got much play in it. So cool. I'll just chuck this on the car and sort of check the fitment now. But awesome news. It seems like he got the measurement right. Okay guys, so what I've done is I've now taken the front wheel off, the old rim, put the spacer on. I've put just 3 of these nuts that hold the actual spacer to the hub on. Done them up a little bit with a wrench, but haven't torqued them down to the correct spec or anything, because I'm not going to be driving on it. I'm just sort of testing the fitment. So that's all like that. And now I'll put the front rim on, and we'll see how she sort of clears the guards. Alright, let's do it. Okay guys, so there we go. So front, hub spacer, and rim. There's actually a little bit of a gap still. You can see that it must not be sitting quite right on the hub in there, but I'll bash it on and all that. But the point being, I've managed to sit the rim on, do the lug nuts up sort of just a slightly stronger than hand tight. So I've used the wrench a little bit So I've used the sockets a little bit just to get it on, but not torqued it down again to the correct spec, just sort of sitting on there. So from the point of view of that, looks good. It's not rubbing there. From the clearance side of things, it's pretty bloody close to overhanging the guards. Probably is slightly overhanging the guards there. But I'll be interested to see once I will drop the car and then get another look at it. But from the point of view of, let's see how the main issue and the reason we ended up getting the spacer in the first place was up the top here. And as you can see, if I can get a better angle, as you can see here, it's got so much room. Realistically, I could probably have gone for and I probably will go for a smaller spacer, because I mean, you can see that's got so much there. That's what it actually looks like. Now everything's on sort of where it should be. So I went for I think I went 25mm spacer. Can probably go, 20 or 15mm, because I mean, you got so much there. No problem. Alright, carry on. Okay, so the rear is now on. I'm actually going to leave this one on because it doesn't have the hub spacer and I don't have to torque it down as much. It's just it works similarly to a normal rim. This one's sitting sitting a whole lot better than the other one. I've actually done these lug nuts up decently tight with the socket. Now I'm going to drop the car and finish them off. Just for your knowledge, if you run lug nuts that are not correct for the rim, in terms of like they don't have the right nose on them, they don't have the right taper, they're not long enough, yada yada yada, you actually can damage the alloy, scratch it, crack it, all sorts. Unevenly wear the alloy where the nut actually mates. So my recommendation is, like, when you get new rims like this, take it to an actual place. So place I'm going to go tomorrow with this to actually get the correct lug nuts for these rims. There's a place called West State Tires in Perth. I've gone to them before for lug nuts. They did me a pretty good deal, and they just have heaps there, and they actually walk out to your car with a rattle gun and sort of just test, and they actually like test them against the rim, make sure they're correct. They don't just go like, oh yeah, that'll do, So I rate them, so I'm going to head there tomorrow and get the correct lug nuts. But for now, they can stay on these lug nuts that are shit, that came with the last rims. They can stay on there temporarily. I'm going to drop the car now and sort of see how the fitment is, but it's looking pretty tight. I'm hoping that, as the body of the car drops, it's going to kind of come out a little bit more and cover the rim up a bit, but it's right on the cusp on the rear, and that's a 10-inch rim, and there's no hub spacer on this one either. So alright, lower the car down and we'll have a look. Okay, so we'll lower the car down, and good news, obviously once the car moves it'll sit slightly differently, but this is a good enough measure. But as you can see, like, it's can't really see the best on the camera, but when that's flat to the ground, that's pretty much legal. Like, I'm pretty honest with myself, and it's like a cop should not ping you for that. Like, it's very, very close. So I think you'd be fine. Yeah, and obviously the car, once it starts rolling, the actual metal is going to come down a bit more, which should give it a bit more. But I mean, if you actually see, like, it should be fine. The back's not too bad. Front, similar story. Front's actually a little bit better now that I've just sort of dropped it down. If I come at it from the front, sort of do that. I mean, it's close enough that, a cop wouldn't be like, oh, that's clearly poking. Like, it's it's not too bad. And even if the front, I'm worried about it, I can just buy a smaller spacer, bring it in 5mm, and then it's definitely legal. So no sweat on the front there. And you know, I'm not, if I can get the camera, if I have to spin it around, I'm not really worried there on the back either. So yeah, all in all, seems like a reasonable success. And yeah, it's night time, so it's not the best time to see, but I mean, that's what the silver rim looks like on the car. Obviously I think black would be better, but it doesn't look too shabby. So yeah, awesome. Okay, so that's the final resting place of the back one. I've finished, so that's got obviously not the best lug nuts on it, but it's got acceptable lug nuts. They're not stripping it. Obviously getting new ones tomorrow, we'll deal with that, but for now that's on. There's no hub spacer on that one sits straight on the actual original hub. Lug nuts are on, car's dropped, weights on it. I've driven forward and back a few times to let it sit. Obviously I've converted back to this one until I can get the right lug nuts and actually put the hub spacer on and set it and everything with Loctite. But for now I've just chucked that back on just so the car's still drivable. But yeah, that's the final resting place of the back one. That's how it'll sit. Even when the lug nuts change, obviously the position of it's not going to change. If you go here, you can see it's legal. Like there's the wheel arch there. It's like dead in line with the wheel arch. So there you go. The front ones obviously will be legal once I change wheel spaces, or probably they're already legal now really, if you want to try luck, or you can go a slightly smaller hub spacer, maybe 20mm, and it will 100% be legal. But there you go, that's how you get forged rims on an Ford Falcon FG without paying through the teeth. So I put all this together with the hub spacers, the rims, and getting them bought out for under 1,500, and they've got, pretty good, plenty of tread on them, all four of them. So yeah, under 1,500 for all that. So you could buy custom rims for, custom made forged rims. So for example, the Koya do a semi-forged rim, they'll make you a custom one. They'll charge you 600 a rim without tires. At least the center ball will be correct, but that's 600 rim is 2,400 for 4 rims. I put this all together for less than 1,500, and the Koya ones you get are semi-forged, so half of them is cast alloy and half of them is forged, whereas these are fully forged Raise Engineering. So there you go. Thanks guys. Keep you updated when we have all 4 on, and I'll do a before and after proper in the daytime walk around the car, what it looked like with the rims before and what it looked like with the rims after. All right, like and subscribe.